Recently, a shocking piece of news emerged in the Chinese community in Brooklyn, New York, when a local community leader was arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. On October 3rd, Wang Yibing, president of the Taishan Overseas Chinese Women's Association, was supposed to attend a Mid-Autumn Festival celebration, but suddenly vanished. The communities quickly started speculating and searching for answers. Just days later, several photos of her arrest began circulating in local WeChat groups. In the images, Wang is seen handcuffed by two federal agents wearing police and HSI vests outside her grocery store in Brooklyn. The photos captured her pale face, furrowed eyebrows, and teary eyes. This scene was like a thunderclap in the Chinese community. Wang Yibing, who had been a well-known figure, regularly organized large events. She was seen as energetic, savvy, and clever. Who could have predicted that this same person would be taken away by ICE? A local community member, Lin Fei, remarked, "How could such a high-profile person not have legal status?" He recalled that just a month earlier, on September 23rd, Wang Yibing had organized a large-scale event, the Mid-Autumn Taishan Specialty Taro Bun Race. According to reports from Chinese language media, Wang had invited Consul Zhang Rui and Gao Xi from the New York consulate, as well as State Senator Steve Chan and State Assembly member William Cotton. But just 10 days later, Wang was arrested by ICE. It felt like an incredible irony. Despite her deep ties to the Chinese government, in the U.S., her immigration status is a heavy liability. According to ICE's website, Wang Yibing is currently being held at the South Louisiana ICE Immigration Processing Center with a high risk of deportation. Her attorney, Edward J. Cuccia, said the situation is very chaotic and hopes to receive more information soon. However, Cuccia confirmed that Wang had not previously been subject to a deportation order. It's worth noting that Wang Yibing had previously been suspected of engaging in espionage due to her frequent interactions with officials from the Chinese consulate, leading to multiple FBI investigations. Some media outlets reported that this arrest was part of a joint effort between ICE and the FBI to dismantle a Chinese espionage network. This incident has sparked lively discussions among overseas Chinese, with many online users claiming that people like Wang are essentially small-time leaders controlled by the Chinese Communist Party in the diaspora. Some have said overseas Chinese leaders are all managed by China's United Workfront Department. All of them serve the CCP, and they all deserve to be deported. Another said, "She made a big show of herself, but China won't care about her. Without legal status, she should have kept a low profile, but instead she flaunted herself and got arrested. It's no surprise." However, some community observers suggest that Wang's arrest might be linked to issues with her marriage-based green card application. Being aged 47, was originally a manager at an insurance company in China. After divorcing in 2017, she moved to Brooklyn with her young son. 5 years later, she opened a grocery store near 8th Avenue, selling Chinese snacks and dried goods. She had applied for a green card through marriage, but the marriage became invalid 2 years later, and the application was possibly controversial, preventing her green card approval. In March 2024, she remarried an American citizen and resubmitted her application. However, due to previous fraud allegations, ICE may have detained her. Several community members stated that before her arrest, Wang had mentioned that she was facing trouble and needed to go to court. She had also sought recommendation letters from local community organizations to demonstrate her contributions. One insider said she mentioned her court date in mid-September, but afterward, it seems like she thought the issue was resolved. Little did she know that just a few weeks later, she would be arrested by ICE. According to the immigration news website Documented, Wang Yibing, who had been in the U.S. for a year, organized a 1,000-people Qipao performance in 2018 for the Chinese community. She had invited various teams from New York to participate in the Belt and Road Qipao Cultural Tour. It was hosted by the China-U.S. Cultural Industry Center as part of a large outdoor event celebrating China's National Day and the Mid-Autumn Festival. This event not only made her famous, but also symbolized her close ties with the Chinese Communist Party's Belt and Road Initiative. Wang Yibing, now president of the Taishan Overseas Chinese Women's Network, also known as Chimerica Women's Association, takes its name from Chimerica, reflecting the close connection between China and the U.S. The association is mainly made up of women from her Taishan hometown, and it quickly became a stronghold for the Chinese consulate in New York. In January 2022, the Chinese Communist Party's regional newspaper, Fujian Daily, reported that representatives from the Chimerica Women's Association distributed New Year's packages provided by the New York Chinese consulate. A local community leader revealed some of them might even come from Chen Shanzhuang. Chen Shanzhuang is another pro-CCP community leader who frequently organizes events for the CCP in the U.S. This community leader, who we will call A, recalled meeting Wang Yibing for the first time at a community dinner in 2018, where Wang sat among influential community leaders and was described as quite bold. He also mentioned that after recently organizing an event, Wang Yibing called him and requested an introduction to the main speaker because she wanted to make a political name for herself. Her high profile wasn't limited to cultural events. In 2019, when Taiwan's president and vice president passed through the U.S., Wang Yibing organized a Chinese community protest, waving CCP flags and chanting anti-Taiwanese independence slogans. The FBI took special interest in this event. In early 2023, Wang Yibing publicly revealed that she had been questioned by the FBI for 2.5 hours. She explained that after two men showed their credentials, they asked her about her relationship with the New York Chinese consulate, whether she had personal ties with several consuls, and if she was involved in espionage activities. Wang denied all the accusations, explaining that she had only assisted elderly people with using the Chinese consulate's app to obtain proof of life certificates. The agents reviewed her WeChat messages, took photos of several conversations, and refused to leave contact information. In March 2024, Documented reported that FBI agents questioned Wang at her grocery store in Brooklyn. They asked, "Why do you work for the Chinese consulate? What benefits do they give you? Do you oppose Taiwan independence?" The FBI also questioned her about a CCP flag she had waved during the protest, which they claimed had been given to her by a consul official. The agents even stated, "You work for the consulate. This is espionage." But this was just the beginning. In late August 2023, she received a letter from the Department of Homeland Security requesting an interview at the Manhattan Federal Plaza Immigration Office. Knowing that her immigration status had expired, she still showed up as scheduled. Officials told her they could immediately detain her, and she was asked to sign a document transferring her case to the FBI. The same FBI agents who had previously questioned her appeared, taking her to an unmarked room where they questioned her for 5 hours. The focus of the interrogation was her role in arranging a meeting between Guangdong community leaders and consular officials from the New York Chinese consulate. The immigration officer later allowed her to leave, giving her a court hearing date. After the FBI questioning in March 2024, Wang likely realized the risks and once again married a U.S. citizen, resubmitting her green card application. She hoped this would help clear her immigration status, but she was ultimately arrested by ICE. Immigration lawyer Wang Hu is the managing director of Susan Chin law firm. He analyzed Wang Yibing's immigration issues. According to U.S. immigration law, even without criminal charges, if there are concerns about fraud, ICE has the authority to detain individuals. Wang Hu pointed out that ICE enforcement actions typically rely on detention or arrest warrants. Recently, ICE launched a nationwide operation in Minnesota called Double Shield, focusing on marriage fraud and fake green card cases. Wang Yibing's arrest may have been part of this tough crackdown. Wang Hu stated that Wang Yibing is eligible for bail, but her chances of being granted bail are slim. He emphasized that her husband's willingness to stand as a guarantor could be a decisive factor. The standard bail is about $7,500, but if he offers a higher amount, it could show sincerity and improve her chances. Currently, Wang Yibing remains detained at an immigration processing center, with the looming threat of deportation. Meanwhile, the Chinese consulate in New York remains silent, offering no help. The sensitive history surrounding her makes the Chinese community hesitant to speak out in her defense. Even her current husband's willingness to protect her from the predicament remains uncertain. In this situation, her future looks bleak. This is the result of working for the Chinese Communist Party, not only being rejected by fellow countrymen, but also being discarded by the CCP as a mere pawn when things go wrong. Wang Yibing's arrest serves as a wake-up call for the Chinese community leaders who are still immersed in the illusion of patriotism. Now, anyone who continues to serve the CCP may end up being deported by the U.S. On October 6, 2025, the conservative U.S. media outlet Daily Caller reported an exclusive story. The report revealed that with the support of a network tied to the Chinese government, Chinese illegal immigrants have obtained commercial driver licenses and are finding work in the U.S. trucking industry. The article specifically mentions the Chinese-American Trucker Organization USA. It is a non-profit organization based in New York, whose chairman, Gang Xing, has held leadership positions in various Chinese government-affiliated organizations promoting CCP influence and intelligence work in the U.S. For example, Gang served as vice president of the Shanxi Chamber of Commerce USA, which is a branch of the Shanxi Provincial Commerce Department and an affiliate of the CCP's United Workfront Department's China Overseas Friendship Association. Interestingly, after this report was published, the website for the Shanxi Chamber of Commerce USA automatically redirected to the Shanghai Shanxi Chamber of Commerce website. In fact, every provincial chamber of commerce and hometown association in the U.S. is affiliated with the CCP's United Workfront Department. The Chinese-American Trucker Organization directly promotes on its website, "Truck and bus exams in Chinese, our own examiners, no waiting, no appointment necessary. Get your truck and bus license in as little as 3 weeks." According to business records, their website, and social media posts, they have helped over 1,000 Chinese students obtain commercial driver's licenses with a 100% success rate. Business documents and the website indicate that the driving school shares an address with Gengxing's trucking company, Red Apple Enterprises. According to a video posted by Tiange on X, members of the Chinese-American Trucker Organization are still teaching truck driving courses at the 7 CDL driving school in Manassas, Virginia. On September 7, 2024, Tiange posted, "The driving school I attended has trained over 1,000 Chinese students, and so far none have failed. Students with prior experience can pass in a week, while those with no driving experience can get through in about a month." He also shared related training videos. Tiange entered North America illegally through the southern U.S. border in June 2023. On his account, he detailed how he passed the commercial driver's license exam at 7 CDL driving school and obtained his qualifications within 2 months after receiving a California driver's license in August 2024. His latest post shows he's employed by NC Transfer Incorporated, driving a long-haul bus. The gray operations of the Chinese-American Trucker Organization have helped illegal immigrants with limited English skills to enter the trucking industry. While this fills a labor shortage, it has also created significant safety risks. In April, the Trump administration issued an executive order requiring stricter enforcement of English proficiency standards. In August, an Indian immigrant truck driver caused a deadly crash in Florida due to inadequate English. Steve Yates, a senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation, said, "No way American citizens voted for the California Gateway for illegal migrants to operate heavy vehicles throughout America. That of itself is a public safety and homeland security concern." The aftermath of this report is yet to fully unfold, but it's predicted that the Chinese-American Trucker Organization may face federal investigations and enforcement actions. Within 4 days of the report's release, it was widely shared in conservative media outlets and translated into Chinese. More importantly, the Texas Department of Public Safety has announced a suspension of CDL issuance to non-citizens, which may impact thousands of illegal students, leading to license revocations and a wave of deportations. As U.S.-China relations remain tense, and the U.S. government intensifies its crackdown on CCP infiltration abroad, so-called patriotic community leaders like Wang are facing unprecedented risks. These overseas Chinese organizations, which served as tools for the CCP's United Workfront, now find themselves caught in a complex web of external and internal pressures. On one hand, heavy-handed accountability from U.S. law enforcement, and on the other, purges from within the CCP. On March 18, 2024, at the inauguration of Liu Aihua as the honorary chairman of the U.S. Fujian Association, Chen Xueduan, the association's former honorary chairman, publicly lambasted Huang Ping, the Chinese consul general in New York. He called him a puppet and a corrupt official, even predicting his imprisonment. He also accused the consulate of using community leaders to attack the spiritual practice Falun Gong, make fake asylum claims, infiltrate the U.S., and harm genuine asylum seekers. The scene was met with loud applause, and the video quickly spread on X, sparking heated discussions among netizens. Some said, "It's a great relief. The CCP's downfall is imminent, and even pro-CCP community groups are turning against them." This incident is not isolated, but is part of the broader cracks in the patriotic community leader system. Huang Ping supported another chairman, Chen Heng. He attended an event of his in March, but was absent from Liu Aihua's, leading to a public clash. The Fujian Association has long maintained close ties with the CCP, being invited to attend National Day celebrations in China several times. Now, even the Chinese consulate is under attack, highlighting the awkwardness and crisis these organizations face in the context of the U.S.-China power struggle. A highly explosive event occurred on May 15, 2023, when Liang Chenyun, the president of the United Front for Peaceful Reunification in Texas, was sentenced to life imprisonment by the Chinese Communist Party for espionage. The China United Promotion Association, also known as the United Front, is a semi-official CCP organization with branches in several countries. It serves as one of the CCP's overseas proxy agencies to promote unification. In October 2020, the U.S. State Department officially designated this organization as a foreign agent operating in the U.S. Liang Chen-yun was a U.S. citizen of Hong Kong descent who had been long active in the Chinese community in Houston, Texas, and has served as the president of the local United Front branch. On the surface, he appeared to be a patriotic community leader, but in reality, he was also gathering intelligence for the CCP, making him a double agent. In April 2022, he traveled to Suzhou, China, where he was arrested by state security. On May 15, 2023, the Suzhou Intermediate People's Court sentenced him to life imprisonment on charges of espionage, depriving him of his political rights for life and confiscating 500,000 RMB in assets. In May 2023, another United Front president in Boston was also charged by the U.S. Department of Justice. The charge was for failing to register as a foreign agent in the U.S. He was accused of providing the Chinese consulate in New York with information about the Boston area and carrying out activities such as influencing public opinion, monitoring, and harassing anti-CCP individuals at the consulate's direction. Liang Chen-yun's life sentence sparked discussions within the Chinese community in New York. Some said the China United Promotion Association is considered a foreign agent by both the U.S. and China. It looks like the United Front will collapse. Anyone involved in the United Front is either caught by the U.S. or arrested by China. It's a doomed fate, caught between two sides. United Front doesn't unite, doesn't promote unification, and can't even succeed at promoting peace. Instead, they end up in prison. They aren't even a proper association, but they have made a significant impact, simultaneously offending two major countries. Many community leaders now have dealings with the U.S. government in terms of information. A lot of them automatically provide information to the U.S. If they don't get along with someone, they report them to the U.S. Now, these so-called patriotic community leaders can't go back to China either. Commentator Wang He pointed out that the patriotic community leaders in the U.S. are facing legal pressure from the U.S. government, while simultaneously undergoing internal purges from the CCP. On the other hand, these patriotic leaders, having spent many years in the U.S., have gained some understanding of the country, and have experienced firsthand the CCP's cruelty and ruthlessness. They're also increasingly aware that the CCP is nearing its end. Against this backdrop, if these patriotic leaders can deeply reflect on the distinction between the CCP and China, they can choose a different life and a different fate.